Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, distinguished guests, good evening. Today we gather for a momentous occasion, the official reopening of the newly renovated Philippine.International Convention Center. Opened in 1976 during the administration of President Ferdinand E.Marcos Sr., the PICC was Asia's first international convention center. Its realization was driven by the vision of former First Lady Imelda R.Marcos, who envisioned a landmark that would place the Philippines at the forefront of global diplomacy and cultural exchange. Now, it stands renewed and revitalized, ready to continue its legacy as the country's premier venue for international dialogue and national pride. Ladies and gentlemen, to formally open today's program, may we invite on stage Attorney Nicolette Ann P. Cruz, General Manager of the Philippine International Convention Center, for her welcome remarks.
His Excellency, President Ferdinand R.Marcos Jr., the Honorable First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, the Honorable former First Lady Imelda Romualdez Marcos, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor and Chairman of the PICC Board, L.E.M. Remolona Jr., the BSP Monetary Board, the members of the Cabinet, the PICC Board of Directors, the ASEAN National Organizing Council, the Philippine Diplomatic Corps, our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Much has been written and said about the PICC and its architecture and construction through the years. In its simplest sense, the PICC is, yes, a convention center, a physical point of domestic and global convergence. This is a place of discussion and debate, a platform of commemoration and celebration. But metaphysically, the PICC is not just any heritage infrastructure. Nothing unites more than the PICC. One can endlessly wax poetic about the PICC's massive, raw exposed concrete elements, the natural texture of which we could not alter in both pattern and direction, or its lustrous, solid red, narrow wood panels and beams, whose horizontal grains gave our master craftsmen anxiety and sleepless nights, or its tens of thousands of downlights, tubular chandeliers, and glass globules, which seem to flicker at odd hours like some sort of supernatural Morse code from the late great Lindy Locsin. Indeed, there is no shortage of praise showered upon the PICC and its historical, cultural, and artistic virtues. The complex has been so intertwined with our national identity that we who were given the task, the honor of restoring, rehabilitating, repairing, and renovating it, approached the project intentionally conscious, not just of the stakeholdings of government in a public asset, but of the kinship and nostalgia, of the pride and patriotism our countrymen feel and associate with the PICC. We did this for our country as we should, as we should. Execution-wise, it was a challenge from start to finish. From its beautiful conceptualization and design, its inflexible regulatory permits and clearances, its intensive samplings, swatchings, mock-ups, and methodologies, its hundreds of master craftsmen and helpers, its meticulously selected and sourced materials, and its detailed, sensitive, and highly technical works. Not a single one of us blinked or slept until every stone, steel, space, slab, stroke, and swipe does justice to the inaugural magnificence of the PICC. Indeed, this is not simply and exclusively a restoration of a physical infrastructure or of a heritage facility or even of a national cultural treasure. This is a restoration of the faith and hope of the Filipino people in government's determination and motivation to serve, in public infrastructure that unites, in beautiful legacies that endure. And so, Mr. President, Madam First Lady, the Honorable former First Lady, the BSP Governor, the Monetary Board, our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Philippine-International Convention Center.
Thank you, Attorney Nicolette Cruz. In the 1970s, the Philippines dared to dream big. In the heart of Manila, a bold idea took shape, not just in concrete and steel, but in vision. This is the story of how one building came to embody the hopes of a nation, and how nearly 50 years later, it stands renewed for a new generation.
In the 1970s, the Philippines dreamed big. President Ferdinand Marcos and First Lady Imelda Marcos sought to place the nation on the world stage through culture, architecture, and global dialogue. At the center of that vision stood the Philippine.International Convention Center. Designed by national artist for architecture Leandro Locsin, it was more than a building. It was the symbol of a nation's ambition. Commissioned by Imelda Marcos in 1974, the PICC was built with remarkable speed and precision, completed in just 23 months. It was the most modern convention center in Asia at the time, a milestone that declared to the world, the Philippines is ready to lead. Imelda Marcos understood that architecture could inspire pride. She trusted Leandro Locsin to give form to that vision, and he delivered a masterpiece. Leandro Locsin was the perfect choice. His architecture spoke in the bold language of brutalism. Massive, geometric concrete volumes that, despite its weight, has a levitating quality. Spaces bounded not by walls, but by other spaces. And eventually, nature itself is a design quality that he continues from traditional Philippine homes. So is his dramatic use of light and shadow.
It was a product of its time, and we're sort of glad that somehow that, you know, here we are 50 years later, and somehow the relevance of the building continues, right? It continues to be valued by the people who use it and who continue to see it.
The PICC was Locsin's triumph. Concrete made poetic, modernism given a Filipino soul. When it opened, the PICC immediately became host to the world. It hosted the International Monetary Fund and World Bank meetings, welcoming thousands of leaders, thinkers, and diplomats. For the first time, the Philippines had a venue worthy of the world's attention. From that moment, the PICC was more than architecture. It was a symbol of progress, prestige, and possibility.
Beyond the conventions that have taken place and everything else, it has kind of a certain mojo. In other cultures, there's a certain spirit to it, and that's almost something kind of irreplaceable, right? It becomes a marker in memory.
Nearly 50 years later, the PICC remains a landmark of Filipino modernism. But time wears even the strongest foundations. Now, under the leadership of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the PICC is being restored. A renewal of vision, a continuation of legacy.
We were required to finish in 6 months. That by itself is already challenging enough. From its red Nara wooden panels, to its beautiful marble floors, to its grand chandeliers, its local furniture, and of course the raw exposed concrete all over the place.
This restoration is more than maintenance. It is respect for history, for Locsin's genius, and for the bold vision that first gave rise to the PICC. It is about keeping the building alive for new generations, ready once again to welcome the world. To restore the PICC is to honor both Locsin's artistry and the foresight of the Marcoses. This building is a living monument, and its future is as bright as its past.
There are things that are important to preserve. Preserving the good stuff reminds us actually of how far we've fallen and how far we have to go to get the mojo back.
The Philippine.International Convention Center was born from vision, the vision of leaders who believed architecture could inspire a nation. It was brought to life by Leandro Locsin, who gave concrete a soul. And today, it stands renewed, proof that bold dreams endure. The PICC is more than concrete, steel, and glass. It is a monument to ambition, a beacon of Filipino pride, and a legacy that continues to shape our future.
At this point, may we invite to the stage BSP Governor and PICC Chairman of the Board, Mr. Eli M. Romolona Jr., to introduce our keynote speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency President Ferdinand R.Marcos Jr.
Thank you, BSP Governor, Governor Eli Remolona. Please be seated. The Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, the honorable members of our Cabinet, honorable members of Congress, PICC General Manager, Attorney Nicolette Ann Cruz, and congratulations, by the way, because you have continued in the tradition of my mother's construction project, which she managed to do in an instant. You have done the same. Well done. And of course, the guiding light, the inspiration, well, she's not the architect, but she was the one who put everything together. And I was commenting to the First Lady, because, when we were going on the tour, I said, my mother doesn't need a tour. She invented this. First Lady Imelda R.Marcos. First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos, who again has inherited the tradition of very quick construction projects that actually come in under budget. So that is always something important to her Ilocano husband. My fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As we open the newly renovated Philippine.International Convention Center, we are revisiting a chapter of our nation's history. We are gathered in a place where history was written, lives were celebrated, where the future will once again be shaped. Every brick, every beam, every hall of this building carries with it nearly 5 decades of stories. Because within these halls, the world's eyes turned to the Philippines as we hosted Miss Universe pageant in 1994. The leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, gathered in 2017 to build the future of our region. But what makes the PICC truly special is not only the big moments that made the headlines. It is also the smaller, more personal moments. The ones that never made it to the front page, but stayed forever in the hearts of the people. How many parents shed tears of joy as they watched their children receive their diplomas here? How many young professionals stood tall on this stage to swear their oaths, carrying with them both pride and responsibility? How many artists poured their hearts out in music, in dance, in painting, and performances within these walls, only to find that the audience gave them something greater in return: appreciation, encouragement, love even. And how many couples have begun their journey together as husbands and wives, while friends and family filled this place with laughter and tears of joy? These are the memories that give life to PICC. These are the stories that turn a hall of concrete into a home of the Filipino spirit. As we look ahead, we recognize the PICC is that as a symbol of Filipino resilience and creativity. And that is why, with the PICC's golden anniversary in 2026, and coincidentally, our hosting of the ASEAN Summit, we reaffirm our commitment to preserving and modernizing the PICC for many generations yet to come. At the center of this effort is the vision of then First Lady Imelda R.Marcos. She first conceived of an international convention center for the Philippines and the artistry of national artist for architecture, of course, Lindy Logsim. His magnum opus has been restored with care and with skill. Its sharp, brutalist lines now meet softer tones and warmer light, reminding us that even in strength, we must include grace. Even in grandeur, the Filipino warmth and hospitality must shine through. The challenge has always been to strike a balance, to honor history, while meeting the demands of the future. And so we have equipped this architectural marvel with new technologies so it can deliver the very best for our people. From the state-of-the-art audiovisual systems, energy-efficient lighting, complex wide high-speed Wi-Fi to enhance security, it is now a venue that will serve both domestic and global needs. And because we believe that art must live with us, the PICC will also showcase a newly curated art collection with priceless works from Filipino masters. This features key pieces from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. None of this would have been possible without the brilliance and dedication of experts across so many fields. Their hearts, their minds, their hearts made sure that we celebrate today that is worthy of our celebration today is worthy of the legacy of PICC. Of course, I must express my deep gratitude to the First Lady Lisa Araneta R.Marcos. Because through her efforts, from providing free medical services through Love for All, to breathing life into the Pasig River, and now rehabilitation of the PICC, she has shown consistency, determination, and optimism. What a lucky man I am. She carries every initiative with full responsibility, always striving to make things better, always mindful of the people that it will serve. Truly, I could not have asked for a better partner in this journey of service. You should stop smiling. That's 1 million points. Huh? And that will be my goodwill for a long time to come. As we reopen the doors of the PICC, let us also open ourselves to a greater challenge, to create, to imagine, and to contribute. Support our artists, our painters, our musicians, our performers. For in their creativity we will find not only beauty, but the very soul of our nation. And beyond appreciation, let us take part in that creation ourselves. It can be a short reflection written in a notebook, a song hummed at the end of a long day, a painting done by a child, or even a simple story shared with family. Every act of creation, no matter how small, is an act of courage. It is an act of hope. If the PICC has shown us anything, it is this: that creativity, when nurtured, endures. That artistry, when given space, inspires. And that every Filipino, no matter who or where they are, can bring light, meaning, and beauty to the world. So together, let us ensure that the PICC will remain as a testament to the artistry, ingenuity, and passion of the Filipino people. Let it inspire us to carry forward our heritage so that decades from now, our children, our grandchildren will still look at this place with pride, saying, "This is who we are. This is what we can achieve. This is what PICC is and what it will always be, so long as we'll continue to nurture that legacy." Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipinas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, that concludes our program. May we invite everyone to please proceed to the reception hall for cocktail reception. Thank you.